really pleased with the effort level, intensity today in practice. Our guys came out ready to get better today, and it was. I haven't watched the video yet, but it felt like our most spirited practice thus far, and I really do think that our guys, as we turn the page into this week, they realize, we've got a game in 12 days. And, when that light now is finally at the end of the tunnel, you can definitely see the intensity level ratchet up a little bit. I do want to say congratulations to the 14 new members of the Texas Hall of Honor. Very well earned and deserved by those former student athletes, including the 4 football players that will be inducted. Just really proud to call them Longhorns, and very appreciative of their love of this university and this program. And I do want to commend our student athletes as well, our team, our football players, for handling the previous 72 hours the way that they have handled them, and really commend them. And us as coaches, we're here to provide guidance, mentorship, ultimately support for the things that are important to the people that we love, which are certainly our players. And just really proud of them and their open-mindedness, as well as their ability and want to be involved in their community and our society as a whole. It makes all of us in our program very proud. So again, very spirited, high intensity practice that we can certainly build off of what we accomplished this morning. Questions?
Go ahead, Max.
Hey, Tom, you mentioned being 12 days away from a game. We still don't really know what the threshold is for postponing games. Do you have a personal opinion on kind of where you hope that ends up?
Yeah, I'm torn. I got to be honest with you, Max. You're right. I was hoping we would have that blueprint, by now. We don't. And, I'm sure we will soon. But, I think that, does there need to be some kind of threshold in terms of a percentage of scholarship players? Probably. But I also know that, there's non-COVID related injuries too, that, how are we going to determine who's available and who's unavailable? Is it a guy that's got a sprained ankle or a guy that's quarantined from COVID? And so my opinion is that there probably needs to be some kind of bar that's set in terms of a percentage of scholarship players that are available, but I don't think that can be black and white either. I think there needs to be some kind of ultimate authority that reviews each case by case, and really dives into why are these guys unavailable, and is this one team's request to postpone the game or reschedule the game, does it have merit? And if it does, then let the conference decide on when and if those games get postponed or rescheduled.
Brian, go ahead.
Tom, I just wanted to ask you a little bit about just the unpredictability of everything. I mean, this has got to be the most topsy-turvy season that you and the players have ever gone through, ever. Pandemic, societal issues. We still don't know how the players are going to react to the eyes post-game. Just what is your message to the guys about handling all of this, managing it, and still, be expected to do what you guys want?
Well, it's harder, certainly, but we feel like, and our advice to them is, you can do both. You can affect change in your society, as well as play football at an elite level, you can do those two things together. And, playing college football at the University of Texas at the level that we plan on playing it is going to give a tremendous platform to all the players, not just on our team, but especially those that are starring for our team. Just the amount of microphones that will be put in front of them throughout the season. And, obviously they're following on different social media platforms. So, I think that has been a very long discussed topic in our program is, you can do both, and you can devote your time, effort, and energy to playing this game and preparing to play this game at the level that we all expect, as well as there's still enough time in the day and enough time, effort, and energy in yourself to go affect meaningful change in your society. So I think most guys realize that in order to do that does require, at some point, you're going to have to sacrifice other things in your life too. And whether that's video games, whether that's late nights, whether that's whatever it is. But I think most guys on our team, if not all, believe that, there's enough time in the day to prepare the way that we need to prepare to win championships, as well as affect their society in a very positive way.
You're up, Alnor.
Coach, you were a little concerned about your depth at linebacker. This offseason, you headed into camp. Can you just give me an idea of what you've seen out of that position and what you've seen from, the guys who've been playing there specifically?
Yeah, I think, we're getting better every day. I saw flashes today. We've got enough bodies that we've got to accelerate the learning process, certainly, but I think we're, a good 3 deep there, and those 3 deep may be pretty inexperienced right now. So we've got to accelerate their learning curve, but definitely pleased with how they practiced, how they've attacked it, pleased with their development thus far with Coach Hutzler and Coach Ash. And, I see those guys literally every day, and, we feel like they're getting better every day. And, I'm glad we don't play UTEP tomorrow, but I do expect, at least 4 of those guys to be very much game ready by the time September 12th hits.
Go ahead, John.
Hey, Coach, you talked about the guys being able to do both, and prepare for a season. How have you handled everything leading up to the season, and what's your mindset? Is it the same as it would be in the past with, as Brian said earlier, all the uncertainty?
No, I think, sensitivity reigns right now, and you've got to be very sensitive to how these events in our society are affecting each individual. And it's not for me, it's not for anybody to decide how a young man is going to be affected. That's for him to decide. And that's based on personal experiences that none of us have that these young men do have. And so I think there is a lot more listening, a lot more sensitivity to the feelings and the angst, anger, fear, trepidation that our players are feeling in today's era. And, but from a football side of it, obviously it's affected the way that we practice, right? I mean, we know without the summer training that is normal in a normal off season, that we were going to have to really alter the way that we practice. And that's okay. And, I don't think, I know for a fact we haven't gone a full padded practice in back-to-back days. I know yesterday was a full padded practice, and, today was Longhorn gear or uppers only. And that was about as physical of a 2-day back-to-back sessions as we've had. And, you know, our plan is to try like hell to get the UTEP game plan pretty much installed this coming week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then, you know, game week is, you know, hour and a half max on the field, just fine tuning things, really working hard to get our guys' legs back so we're as fast and fresh as we can be on Saturday the 12th. But as far as my mindset personally, you know, I'm kind of rolling with the punches just like everybody else is in our program. You know, there's no manual for this, and this is the first time any of us has ever gone through it. So we're all kind of learning together, to be honest with you, John. But I do know that right now, you know, kind of as a staff, our job is to listen, to ask questions, and definitely be sensitive, knowing that we don't share the same experiences that some of these players do. And we've got to be mindful of the advice and, you know, mentorship that we give them because of that.
Kurt, go ahead.
Tom, I was just curious if all your players have registered to vote. And to Josh Thompson's statement, is there a player committee formed to maybe meet with police and other officials to enact meaningful change?
I don't know the answer to is everybody registered to vote. We did bring in an organization over the summer called Rise to Vote that spoke to our team about the importance of voting. And I know a number of guys registered right there on the spot after that meeting. And then we'll hit it again here in the coming weeks. Our goal is obviously to get all of them registered to vote, and not just register, but actually go vote. And you know, that's our goal. But I don't know that we're there quite yet, Kurt. But I do know that we're closer to that goal than we've ever been, just by the meeting with Rise to Vote, and you know, the importance that we put on it here the last couple months. And then is there a committee? No, they had a players only meeting for about an hour and a half on, what was it, yesterday? I guess it would be. And no, I'm sorry, on Friday, and kind of laid out a lot of the things that Josh posted. You know, that was born of a team meeting where guys got together and kind of brainstormed some ideas on how to take that action. And then, you know, that was the first step. So, you know, that was just less than 48 hours ago. So we'll, I'm sure, form some kind of committees here and there, and, you know, to make sure those things that those guys want to get accomplished gets done.
Go ahead, Bob.
Tom, it feels like you're in a little better position than you were a year ago at running back. You've got a couple you can play. Where is that battle kind of standing right now with Keontae and Rowe and Roshan and Bijan, and how is that all playing out? And then second, is in the last week, has there been any movement at the backup quarterback spot? What have you seen with Casey and Hudson as they're trying to battle that out too?
Yeah, I think, you know, I know everybody wants to know about depth chart. You know, running back is one of those positions where, you know, I think it's pretty irrelevant who jogs out on the very first play. You know, those guys, all three of them are going to play quite a bit, and have different packages for them. And certainly as the game goes on, you'll get a feel for, you know, who's seeing the game well and who might be having an off night maybe here or there. But our plan, we really don't have a starter at that position. You know, we've got three guys that we feel like we can win with, and they're all going to play. And what was the second part of your question, Bob? I'm sorry.
Sorry, the Casey and Hudson, just that battle.
Yeah. Yeah, if we play the game tomorrow, certainly Casey's much more game ready. Right now, we're very excited with Hudson's potential. And, you know, this is a guy that has not had a spring practice, has had his freshman year be the interesting anomaly that is 2020. But he's got a very bright future ahead of him, and that should be an interesting battle for years to come. But, you know, if we play the game tomorrow, certainly Casey is the most game ready of the two.
Cedric, you're up.
Hey, Tom, there was a time when athletes didn't speak out as much on social issues, and you are an athlete, and as with a lot of people on here. But how have you adjusted as a coach and dealing with the fact that your guys are going to speak out on things that are football related?
Yeah, I appreciate the compliment by saying I was an athlete. I wouldn't go that far, but no, I don't, and I'm not trying to be dismissive. I'm a bit confused by the question, a little bit. Like, I mean, this is just, this is the world we live in now, and these guys all have platforms, and those platforms didn't exist back when I played, back when any of us were their age. And so, you needed a microphone in front of you to express your opinion. And now they don't. You just need a phone. And, which has empowered, emboldened a lot of young people in today's environment. And I'm happy for them. I think, all of you guys on this call know me well enough right now. I am a huge proponent of players' rights. I believe that, they should not be silenced. They are very, very active participant in this giant machine that is college football. And their voice should be heard, should be listened to. Again, are you going to agree with everything? No, didn't ask you to. But the one thing we do ask of everybody as they interact with our players and our program is just to listen and give our players the common decency that they have earned by putting the burnt orange and white on and playing this violent physical game that I think they have earned at least the respect enough to where everybody's going to listen. Again, didn't ask everybody to agree, but I do think that they have earned the right to express their opinion and be listened to.
Maya, you have a question?
Yep. Hi, Coach. Just to piggyback off of some of the questions that have been asked, we've seen a lot of athlete protests across the country at various programs, but, your team was protesting early on. How does it feel knowing that Texas was kind of at the forefront of some of these student athlete movements?
It's the first I've even thought about it. We kind of do what comes natural. Us as coaches, we're here to serve our players. This is a players first program. And our job is to provide an environment for them to where they feel like they can be themselves, express themselves, provide them every tool and resource known to man to be successful on and off the field, and then sit back a little bit and kind of see what they do with it and where they take it. And if they hit a roadblock, we're there to help and to guide and to mentor. But I think it's more about fostering an environment to where these guys feel comfortable in doing so. But in terms of being one of the first, I don't know that we ever set out for that to be our goal. We just set out to, our player. Again, a lot of these questions, Maya, are better directed at our players than me. I certainly don't want to speak for all of them, but I am proud of them for using their voice and their platform early in this. And if what we did, a couple months ago helped other programs feel comfortable enough to do that, then I think that's ultimately, on the grand scale of things, is we want to affect change. And if that's one of the things that we have changed, then job well done as far as we're concerned on that front.
Nick, go ahead.
Hey, Tom. I'm just kind of curious what kind of impression Freak Black has made on you since arriving on campus, especially after y'all lose Colin and Devin. How big is it to sort of bring in a guy who, even though he has dealt with injuries, he's pretty experienced. He's going to be one of your more experienced guys. What has he brought to the program? What have you seen from him? What's it been like on the field in the locker room?
Yeah, a quiet confidence. You know, Tariq doesn't say a whole lot, but he has assimilated well. The team has embraced him because of his work ethic and his contribution to the team and the offense in particular. A guy that's very selfless. You know, he wants to be on all the special forces units, you know, volunteering to do that. He's, you know, as you would expect with a grad transfer, he's very mature in the way that he handles his business in terms of his preparation, his attention to detail, when it comes to watching video, studying his playbook, as well as taking care of his body. You know, that's a guy you just really don't have to remind a whole lot to do any of those things because of his maturity level. So we're thrilled to have him.
Jeff, you're up.
Hey, Tom, just kind of want to ask you a football philosophy question. I was wondering if you could just kind of go back over, you know, kind of your thoughts on 11 personnel and why you've liked that package in the past. And then in terms of experimenting with whether it's 21 or 10 personnel or whatever, how much of that is opponent specific throughout the year and how much of that is related to your own personnel in terms of switching it up?
Well, 11 personnel gives you the most versatility, certainly, to run what we want to run, both from tight end in the core of the formation, out of the core formation. We've had a lot of work with 12 personnel these last 5 to 7 days, just from a receiver health issue and, you know, productivity issue. You know, we feel like our tight ends, we got really 4 tight ends that can help us in a game. And so I think, Jeff, it's all about, you know, and I know that the fans wish we could play with 15 guys every snap. And, you know, but we can only play with 11. And so there's going to be some really good players standing on the sideline for a player or two. And that breeds competition, which is very, very healthy. You know, we haven't jogged 10 personnel out there yet. Just it's a matter of, you know, wear and tear on our receivers. But, you know, we have majored in 12 personnel. Our tight ends are very, very versatile and can line up as a fullback, can line up as an inline tight end, as well as a slot receiver. And, you know, I think you see just, you know, how lethal some of that combination can be. You look no further than our rival up north. You know, some of the years they've had some of the best offenses in the country. You know, they've played in 12 personnel. You know, I remember when they had Mark Andrews and Dimitri Flowers. You know, those guys never left the field, and you know, because they were so versatile. So I think it is a little bit opponent specific each week, but I think it more so has to do with how do you get your best 11 on the field, and how do you stay smart in terms of the wear and tear on everybody's body as well.
Steve, you're up.
Hey, Coach, how are you? A couple of quick ones for you. You know, you've been talking a lot about all the things that are kind of unusual with this year. Tell us a little bit about some of the stuff that's been normal from this year. I mean, stuff that you've been on routine, that you've been able to handle real well. And also, can you tell us
next question. No, I'm kidding.
And what about, you know, we've heard a lot from Josh Thompson off the field, but what has he done on the field to solidify his spot as potentially one of the starting corners, Coach?
Well, I think anytime we're in between the white lines, it feels normal. So, you know, for those 2-3 hours a day, 4 hours a day, when you include meetings, you know, it feels normal. And, you know, that has kind of been, you know, our guys' sanctuary, for lack of a better term, you know, is coming in the meeting room, studying football, and then going out and honing and perfecting your craft physically on the field. So definitely, you know, from start to finish, the times that the guys do walk in the building to the time we blow them up at the end of practice, those have felt the most normal in terms of hours of the day. And Josh is doing a hell of a job. He's on our leadership council. He's very mature and intelligent young man that is not afraid of confrontation. He's not afraid of conflict. He's very empathetic when it comes to him and his listening skills. And then on the field, you know, he's made a ton of plays throughout our camp, and, you know, is really is growing into being a leader on our defense.
Got time for a couple last ones. Go ahead, Joe.
Coach, I asked Coach Ash this the other day. He said he plans to call the defense from the field this year. I was wondering, at least for not just defensive, but from a whole coaching perspective, what are some of the challenges in calling plays on the field instead of up in the press box? And then what does Coach Yursich plan to do this year as far as where he's going to be?
And Michael be in the box. That's where he feels the most comfortable. That's kind of where I prefer him anyways. And so he'll be up there with his, you know, with that vantage point. I think, you know, you asked about the disadvantages of being on the field. You know, it's kind of personal preference, to be honest with you. You know, I always preferred to be in the box. I preferred the sterility of that environment, and to not get caught up in the emotion and the energy and adrenaline that is very prevalent on the sideline. And then obviously the view from up there is phenomenal in terms of seeing all 22 guys. But there is something to be said about, you know, having the pulse of your team on the field and looking guys in the eye, you know, in between series and talking things out, drawing stuff on the board, all of that. And in order for Chris to do that, you know, he's got to feel comfortable with the guys that are giving him information from the box. And right now he feels good that information is going to be valuable and impactful, that he wants to be on the field. And I'm excited to see it.
Got time for two last ones, Max and then Steven.
Yeah, Tom, did you get a chance to watch the game on ESPN last night at all?
I did not. No, sir. I got home and.
So, okay. Austin P was missing all three of their
family time when I get home.
That's fair. So Austin P was missing all three of their long snappers, and they had their quarterback do a bunch of punting last night. And I'm wondering, as you get ready for every possibility, does Sam have a leg? Can he punt for you at all if you need him to?
We've always practiced an offensive formational kick. You know, every year it's kind of those things you review on Thursday and or Friday, and if you need it, you use it. But yeah, all those quarterbacks, you know, those guys. I mean, they grow up punting, kicking, you know, the whole nine. Jared Wiley is our backup kicker right now, you know. So I mean, there's those guys, all those guys that have played quarterback have usually done a variety of things growing up. So I've seen Sam punt. Got to work on his consistency a little bit, but for the most part, he could get you out of the game, sure.
Hey, Coach, got one last one, Jeff.
Hey, Tom, just from a logistics standpoint, what does the next week look like for you guys before game week? And then as far as game week goes, any changes in terms of hotel stay the night before the game or anything that would deviate from a normal game week?
This coming week will be kind of what we call a mock game week. You know, this will be our first time in 4 years that we haven't played our first game on the week that school has started. You know, so that has definitely been a challenge going into our openers in years past. And so we're excited, you know, to kind of be like the rest of the country and not have to worry about the start of classes, you know, just a couple short days prior to your opening ball games. So this week, again, Tuesday will be first and second down game plan for UTEP. Wednesday, third down and red zone. Thursday, kind of a cleanup section. Friday, we'll kind of run through our Family Friday routine of the games that we play with our players, as well as the walkthrough that we have. That walkthrough will be extended a little bit to cover, you know, a variety of different situations. And then Saturday we'll have a mock game, which be very light in terms of physical exertion and you know, player load numbers, but very heavy on the mental aspect of it. You know, I've got the script in front of me. You know, you've got everything from, you know, kill punts, backed up punts, kickoff after a safety, kickoff after a penalty. You've got an offensive punt. You've got, I mean, everything under the sun that could come up throughout the course of a game. We'll try to cover at least once on Saturday. And then that way we can feel like heading into game week that, you know, the game plan is in, and now it's just about fine tuning and staying sharp and getting ready for the game.